Nice and large, right? Because we're trying to let the younger sisters know we have. All of the things that we're involved in needs to be communicated in these pieces. And also, again, you don't have to search for it. We have the name, the address, we have the email address, and we also have the web address. So all of your questions can be answered, and you can even send this back to us if you have questions. Five things your audience needs to know. And we discussed this before, but we're going to go over it again. What is your mission? When did you begin? Where you are locally and digitally? How can they be involved? It is important that your audience does not have to consider myself part of that group. I'm sort of like 1 foot in the verbal, 1 foot in the iconic. It's funny, Father Sonny was talking about people don't read as much anymore. Instead of me reading the manual, I found a way to copy and paste it into Microsoft Word so I could hear it. I don't know what it is. I start reading and I start getting sleepy. But if I can listen to it, I can listen to it all day. I don't know why that is. But these are the things, like when we're designing things, we need to make sure that the iconic group can get all of the information in one place, that it's not very wordy, minimize how much information, but always lead them to the website. Always lead them back to your province. Because if you put too much there, they're not going to read it. My provincial won't read it. And she's not in the iconic group. She's definitely in the verbal group. But if I send her something and she tell me, she'll kick it right back to me. She says, you need to shorten that. I'm not looking at it. Too much. I said, okay. The meaning of colors, shapes, and other graphic elements. Sister Nancy says she was waiting for this one. Many people may not know why in grocery stores they immediately feel hungry, even if they ate before leaving home. Others may never have questioned why they feel calmer in their bedroom than in their living room. Little did we know that colors play a major role in our emotional state and the way we view the world around us. Big corporations are aware of color theory and psychology, and they often utilize this simple method to draw their customers in, and they by using the theories based in color theory and color psychology. It is a term used to describe the collection of rules and guidelines regarding the use of color in art and design as developed since their early days. Color theory informs the design of color schemes aiming at aesthetic appeal and the effective communication of a design message on both the visual level and the psychological level. The color theory itself, it spans all the way back to Sir Isaac Newton's original color wheel. So when you look at this image, like when I was back home, Sister Monica's admin, Abby, as soon as she saw this, she said, "Oh, that's so nice. It looks so beautiful." I said, "Now imagine yourself in that hallway. Psychologically, you probably would be fine in this area. But the closer you start to get to these warm colors, it does something. Because we know that even in another language, if we see a stop sign, it's red, right? It's red, and it's that bold red. It lets you know something's going on, danger or stops. It's communicating something. So as we go into that hallway, psychologically things start to change. When we're designing, Adobe Illustrator deals in RGB and CMYK, but mostly CMYK. CMYK, as some of you may know, is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. In Photoshop, we deal more in RGB, which is red, green, and blue. Color theory is a term used, well, we already did that. I don't have to tell you again. Analogous colors, based on 3 colors located next to each other on the wheel. And so one of the things when it comes to designing a piece, part of the harmony is the colors you select. You always want to try to create something. You want to have something green next to something maybe fuchsia or something like that. You know, if you're going to have a certain color green, you might want to go into like maybe a lighter blue. From that lighter blue, maybe into a softer pastel yellow. You know, you want to have a harmony as it goes around. It has to be complementary. Complementary colors are one or more pairs of colors that when combined cancel each other out. They produce high contrast. Split complementary is a combination of analogous and complementary color schemes. So within these colors, while they are different, when put in the same piece, you can see harmony in all of them. You know, it's not out of harmony, it's pretty much in sync. Triadic, using 3 colors at equal distances from each other on the wheel. So as you can see, yellow, blue, red. These can be brought into a same piece and still create a harmony. Tetradic, using 2 sets of complementary pairs, which I actually think that is. It's sort of similar to that piece I showed you earlier, the bonfire piece, how you can mix the blues and the oranges and still have a harmony to it. Color temperature is another vital consideration in design by distinguishing between warm, cool, and neutral colors. We apparently have the power to evoke emotional responses in people. Warm colors are those with shades of yellow. Cool colors have a blue, green, or purple tint. Neutral colors include brown, gray, black, and white. One of the things that we at, I'm not on. One moment. I'll just speak a little louder in the interest of time. Here we are. There we go. When I took color theory class, my professor, she showed us how to use color theory when going into job interviews. She said, you wouldn't go to a job interview in a red suit. I said, no, it looked ridiculous. She said, exactly. She said, if you walked in with a gray suit or a brown suit or a darker blue, it gives off emotionally that you have things together, that you're intelligent, that you're business focused. She said you have to utilize colors even when you're going outside. It communicates different things. When I got up this morning, I originally ironed a navy blue polo shirt to wear, but I decided to wear my red. Why? Because it's kind of fun, you know. When I'm walking around, it's kind of jazzy, you know. It catches the attention, and I wanted you to know that. Look, I don't. When I'm back home, I don't use my Saturdays to go to seminars. I'm usually at home sleep. So I'm like, if we're coming here on a Saturday and you're giving me your attention, I want to keep your focus. I want to make it exciting, you know? Not some bland blue and it's like, hi everyone. Let's talk a little about graphic design. And then as the hours go down, I'm just seeing heads. And I know you're not praying. Color psychology and emotion. So we're going to go over just a couple colors, right? Blue. The emotion that blue gives off is trust, responsibility, honesty, loyalty, inner security. What are your colors in your dress? Blue. So you probably may or may not have known that emotionally, when you approach someone with that color, it's letting them emotionally, it brings the guard down. You know, it says, hey, this person is trustworthy. They're responsible. What they're going to tell me is the truth. You know, they're loyal to something. They have an inner security in who they are. Industries you normally find that in is security, finance, technology, healthcare, and accounting. When used, blue reduces stress, creates calmness, relax, secure, and creates order. Once you get into the lighter hues of blue, like turquoise or light sky blue, freedom, self-expression, trustworthy, wisdom, and joy can be the emotions from that also. So in what you're wearing, you're communicating that also. The industry stuff, that's fine, but I want to talk more about the emotion and the use. So the use is to draw attention, inspire trust, suggest precision, communicate consciousness, and stimulate productivity. Green, safety, harmony, stability, and reliability and balance. When you're designing something and you use green, you can also use it to bring out an emotion of relaxation, balance, revitalize, encouragement, and possess. Yellow, enthusiasm, opportunity, spontaneity, happiness, positivity. That's why most of our school buses are yellow. It's supposed to be a happy thing. It's a happy vehicle. Kids, come on, let's go to school. You know, it stimulates you. It encourages you. It's also a relaxation. It awakes awareness. It energizes. We want those kids to go happy. We don't want any dry kids going to school. Oh, I hate it. Purple, freedom, self-expression, trustworthy, wisdom, joy. It also draws attention, inspires trust, suggests precision, communication, consciousness, stimulates productivity. Pink, imagination, spirituality, compassion, sensitivity, mystery. And it also has, uses for encouraging creativity, inspires and combines wisdom and power, creates an impression of luxury and intuition. And the last set of colors are your reds and your oranges. So red, excitement, energy, passion. That's why when we see Valentine's Day, we're not using blue and yellow. I love you. It's like, no, I love you. Courage, heat, desire, anger, danger, warning. That was one of the first lessons we learned in color theory was how if you're trying to communicate something soft, never use red because, case in point, when a matador goes in front of a bull, he doesn't have a blue cape. He's got a red one. He's drawing attention. It's a danger in it. Stimulate, create urgency, draw attention, caution, and encouragement. Orange, courage, confidence, friendliness, success, ignorance, and sluggishness. I didn't mean to interpret that in my design. Stimulate, communicate fun, draw attention, express freedom, and fascinate. So, without even knowing, I communicated that in my piece. that we wanted them to express freedom when they came, that we wanted to fascinate them. Basic graphic design elements that we talked about, because if you remember at the beginning of the presentation, there was only a few. So later in the presentation, as we incorporated color, I just wanted to put more of them on there. So it's color, line, shape, texture, space, and form. I believe perfect. Because I remember, like I said, I wanted to show you how to create not just videos, but with the remainder of the time, I'm going to create a Facebook post and show you how to do it step by step, the elements of design. So as I exit out of here for a moment, I want to show you a video. See, I queued it up for you. There we go. Okay. So once you do that and you're all set and you like how it looks, what you'll want to do, sorry, my mouse is acting up on me. Okay. Okay, so once you're done, you're gonna go to File, and you're gonna go save. You're gonna export. You're not gonna save as. You're gonna export. Now, when you export, it will give you a set of instructions. Do you want to create a video? And you tell it, yes, I want to create a video. And it's going to ask you certain things like presentation quality. I always choose 1920 by 1080 because that's pretty much the normal platform size for YouTube and things. And I want to eventually put it on YouTube, and we have a big screen in our convent, and that's when most of our videos play during the day. And so I'll set it for that. It asks me, it says I don't have any, recorded timings or narrations, so it knows to cancel that out. It even asks me, in case I haven't told it, how many seconds I want to spend on each slide. I usually do 5 seconds. I don't want it too long. I don't want it too short. 5 seconds is right where I want it. And then I can say, create video. And then once I select create video, it'll ask me where I want it to save to, and it'll create the video. It takes a while. So give yourself about between 5 and 10 minutes sometimes, depending on how many photos you added. Another thing, and I apologize, my mouse is non-existent for whatever reason. But here, for sound, let me try to grab it. Okay. I knew this was going to happen because whenever you spend time on something for too long, something's not going to work correctly. But basically, with the sound, you can actually add your own sound, and that's what I did with my selection. So, I believe it's when you go to other sound, it may give you the option to incorporate your own audio. If you want to know where to get free audio files from online, YouTube has free music for you to download, not on the actual website, but I believe it's called YouTube Audio Library. So when you go to YouTube Audio Library, it has different musics and things that you can add to your presentation, and you can download these. They're totally free. We use them a lot because sometimes people may want music added, but we don't have the rights to it, and so we don't want to have something on YouTube playing music that we don't have rights to. And that's one way of, if you don't have Adobe Premiere, you can still make a very nice, presentable movie with your pictures just by simply using PowerPoint. When it comes to Photoshop, this is I usually, like on my computer, this is one that I brought with me. It's relatively new, but my computer at my desk, I have post sizes for different things. So if we need something designed for Twitter or if we need something for Facebook, or if we need something for Instagram or anything like that, I have the sizes saved already. Where you can go to find those if you're not sure what size to use, I have a folder saved on here for my bookmarks. And I mean, anything that I don't know that I need to find out quickly, I just usually use Google like anybody else. What I'll do is I'll just go ahead and have it open all of them. So, Unsplash. If you go to unsplash.com, you can type in the search bar anything that you're looking for your design. So if you're looking for pictures of flowers, you can just type flower, and it will give you a full just list of all the images that they have on file that have flowers in them. And if you just hover over the image with your mouse, this button right here is the download button, and you'll just click that, and it'll begin to download the file for you. Like I said, it's totally free. It will always give you this message. It says, if you would like to credit the photographer in your piece, you can, but you don't have to if you don't want to, because the service is free. Another place to find free images is this website, Pixabay, Pixabay. If you go to Pixabay, you can not only you can find raster-based images to download, but you can also find vector images, illustrations, and videos. So if you have Adobe Premiere and you're looking for some animations in between your photos, you can download free videos to use in your presentation. This third website is called vectorportal.com. All of these are vector files, so they're like little cartoons and illustrations. But I mean, I found some pretty cool things. Like if I needed a image of a cross, and I'm pressed for time, they have several here for me to download, and I can add that to my piece. These are the time-saving things that I found that I share with Sister Nadia, that I share with Sister Rosalia, because sometimes we may need to produce something in an hour, and we just don't have the time to draw it by hand or something like that. So we use these a lot. When I looked online, this website, LouiseM.com, or Louise Myers, she has a list of all the file dimensions and infographics for the different social media platforms. So if you have a question regarding what sizes you should make, it saves a lot of time. Because sometimes, even though I do it a lot, it's like, your brain kind of goes on autopilot sometimes, and you know what to do, but you might have forgot the dimensions. I go there. And in showing you how to create posts in Publisher, another way, because Publisher and Photoshop are very different. In Photoshop, what I'll even show you, I can go into my file and open a new file, and I can tell it I need something that's 1,200 pixels wide and 600 pixels large. But when I go to Microsoft Publisher, it doesn't communicate that way. It's going to ask me how many inches is it, and I didn't know. And so when I looked it up online, I said, okay, this is an image converter. It's called auctionrepair.com, and I just said 1,200, and my image height is going to be 600. And so it converted and told me that basically my design needs to be an image width of 16 inches wide and an image height of 8 inches tall. So let's go to Photoshop for a moment. If this is for those who have it, okay? So I'll go with Photoshop first. If you need me to stop at any point, just let me know, okay? Just raise your hand, I'll slow down. So I have this space. And so usually, okay, say for instance, if Sister Monica comes in the office and says, I need a post, I just need a photo post, maybe something that has to do with a church or a stained glass cathedral and a scripture in there or a phrase. Okay. I already have some images saved to my computer already. So I say, okay, do I have a picture? Yep, I got a picture. I right-click on it. And I say open with. And so I want to open it with Adobe Photoshop. Now, this is a very beautiful piece. I like it. I think it goes well. Now, how do I incorporate that into my post? By just clicking on this top bar for the image. It tells me where the image is in the software. I just click it and I drag it off. It's a quick way for me, and I just grab that image and I release it onto my post. And I don't need it anymore because the layer is already in where I need it to be, so I just disregard it. Now, as you can see, this is way too big for this space, which is perfect because it's raster based. I don't want to stretch it, but I would like to shrink it down, right? And one of the great things about Photoshop is, do you see those crosshairs, those pink crosshairs right there? I'm a little tall. That lets me know that when I size this down, it's directly in the center of my piece. So I don't have it too far over to the left. I don't have it to the right. When I size it down, it's going to size perfectly into that window. Now, how do I size it? I press Control T. Now, my dialog box at the top has changed because it knows I want to scale down. And so it's going to ask me how much do I want to scale. I'm going to click this little infinity button, I call it. And I'll just highlight the width. It's already at 100%. I'll just type 50 in there. Okay, it shrunk it down some, but I still needed more. So I'll highlight it again. And I might say 30. Perfect. I might choose to bring it down just a little bit because I like this little top area. Now I have my image. It's in my post. It's all set. But it's not really communicating anything. I wanted to say something. So, you see this square right here? That's one of the shape tools. I'm going to select the rectangle, and I'm just going to click and drag down. Now that's the color black. I saw a variation of different colors, and I think the one I would like to use is purple. So in my fill selection, if it'll do it, which it should, I'm going to select a more purple hue. That's a little too bright. I want it more subdued, so now I'm going more towards the black and the gray area. This is fine for me right now. Everyone following? Now, I can't see the church behind it, so in this area where it says opacity, I'm going to click and use this scale to bring the opacity down. Now, it looks fine, but I'm not, I don't, when you see the piece, I don't want you to see the edges. It's one of those things, concept-wise, I'm trying to create something new out of something that was already made. So Photoshop gives me the option of creating a mask. And so by selecting this button here, click on that, I can grab what's called the gradient tool. And I know I'm probably in the way. Let me do this. There we go. And at the right-hand side, I'm going to select the Shift button, and I'm just going to click and drag over. You notice that it faded now. I want to create another one for the opposite side, so I'm going to go in this gradient layer, right-click. Oh, I know what I got to do. First, I'm going to select the color. God bless you. I'm going to rasterize the image. I'm just going to sort of lock it down. And I tell it, I accept the layer mask that I made, and I want to create another one. And so I'm going to go to the left-hand side, Shift, click, drag over. If you're saying to yourself, this is a lot of information, I am here with you for the remainder of this session. So if at any time you say, Andrew, I want you to go over that again, we can come up here and I will gladly go over it with you as many times as you want to before I leave. Okay? Because I don't want you to think, okay, I don't get this, and you leave out here and you're like, I don't understand. I want you to understand. So we have more time than this presentation, okay? Sorry, people at home. I'll have to get to you at another time. Who knows? Maybe they'll send me to your province. I can get more stamps on my passport. And so I have this. I'm just stretching it out just a little bit to cover more of the cathedral in the back. Now I have something I can kind of work with. I like it. It's a little subtle. And now I want to add text. So I'm going to click this text selection tool. And you see the icon, maybe go towards the black, it changed from like a directional, you can't see it too good up there, but it changed from a directional, like an arrow, to more of like a text bar. And I can just click and drag. And I'll just type something similar to here. Your light must shine. Now you're probably like, I can't see that. Of course, because it's only at 12 points. But if I select the font size and I say maybe 30, you start to see it more. Maybe I'll bump it to 60. Now you can really see it. Now it's black text. That's not going to work well on this piece because I want you to just be able to see it. So I'm going to go to 100% white. The color code for 100% white is FFFFF. So 5 Fs make 100% white. Or you can just do CMYK and select all zeros. So now you can see it a little better, right? Now I'm going to deal with the part of formatting it. So I want to separate those two. Because I want it to be just a little bit bigger. So in here, since it only goes up to 72 in the preset, I want to know what 100 looks like for my font size. Nice. And maybe I don't like the font I selected. So I have all of the fonts that are on my computer are automatically in here. And if you have a Adobe subscription, like a Creative Cloud subscription, there's a service that they add to it called Typekit, and you can actually download alternative fonts. So if you have some fonts and you say, none of these I really like, you can go on there and download them for free. As long as you have the service, they'll be in your toolkit. And I like this script. Again, because it's calligraphy, maybe I want to do it at 200. Too big. Too big. Let's do 130. Okay. Now, you can see it, but not so much because we've changed it to a more calligraphy font. So one of the things I like to do is if you double click on the font layer, it gives you the option of adding a drop shadow to it. And by adding that drop shadow, now it comes more to the forefront. It's not as subdued as it was before. And I can, create distance, opacity on shadow so it comes out more. I like it right there. But I still think it's missing something. I have a file that I saved. We used it in the earlier video for photos. It was a cross, right? I right-click that. Open it. Same as before, bring it over. And I can change that color to white if I like. If I want to add a fade element to that as well, I can do it the same way we did the shape. And I can just bring that up. That way it fades. I can lower the opacity just a bit. And now, how long do we spend on that? Maybe 10 minutes or less. And we have something functional for my boss to use for posting to Facebook now. And we're only using a total of 4 elements. We have our image. We use the shape, but we faded it out a little bit. We have our typography, we have our type, and we're using symbols. So within that piece, we've used all the basic elements, and we've created something nice, very fast, it can go out. If you do not have that particular platform, but you have Publisher, I already have a Publisher file open already. So this is that 16 inches by 8 inches. And what Publisher will allow you to do is insert. I'm going to insert picture. Now I'm not going to be able to do exactly what I did here, but something very similar. So I'm going to actually break one of my rules. Remember I said we can't stretch out, right? You can stretch out a little bit. A friend of mine showed me this, that as long as it's a very minimal stretching, if it's a large enough file, it doesn't pixelate that easy. Now, I wouldn't dare try to stretch it all the way across, but just that little bit will help me in what I want to do. And so maybe now that I have that there, I want to create a shape. I don't need an outline, so I'm going to tell it no outline. would be so kind as to let me change the color. Ah, there it is. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so I have an image of a Bible on a bench. If Sister Monica wanted me to create, if there was a situation where I was in front of a computer that didn't have Photoshop on it at the time, then maybe I can open up Publisher. I have my picture to the right, and on the left, I can draw my text box. Select all. Okay. Since it's not exactly letting me do what I want. I can select that cross again. Add that to it. And I'm just going to play with the size. So as you play around with it, you can also, you can clean it up just a bit by when your mouse is working. you can adjust your line height to bring your line maybe more closer to this. You can also change the color. I would make it white. And then you can situate your cross however it is you want it to be at. So maybe if you wanted to move it up here and have your text more along this side, you could. You can make it however it is you want it to look. Like I said, maybe later. I'm not sure why it's not. I seem to be having a bit of an issue with my mouse right now. But you can create something similar using Publisher. It doesn't always allow for the exact same attempt through Photoshop because Photoshop has a more sophisticated base, but I still want to help you get something that'll work for you, okay? Back to our presentation. So I have just a few more minutes. The Adobe Creative Cloud. Basically, what this is when you sign up for Adobe Creative Cloud online, it gives you the full list of all of the applications that they offer. So if you want to create raster-based images, you can use Photoshop. If you want vector, Illustrator, Adobe Dreamweaver, That's for helping you create websites. If you have a basic understanding of how HTML works, Dreamweaver is great because you may not, like if you're like me, you don't know how to lay out HTML text just like you're typing a document. This helps you, and it makes it a little easier to create websites that way. Adobe Acrobat for setting up PDF files for forms and things of that nature. Adobe InDesign is really good for publications like magazines, brochures. We're actually designing the newsletter for the communications conference in Adobe InDesign. Premiere is another tool to create videos using Adobe. Microsoft Office. You can utilize Word to create a lot of the things that you need. So if you don't have Adobe, you can make newsletters from Microsoft Word as well as Publisher. If you have, a flyer that you need to create, but you don't have the Adobe software, please utilize Microsoft Word. I've even used Microsoft PowerPoint to make flyers at times. Excel, it's very good, but from a design perspective, not really much you can do there. It's more data entry, but it's there. In the last few minutes, because I'm going to have to leave you for now in a little while, but I want to just close with helping. When we had our Province Days in the U.S., one of the things that the focus was building bridges. And so I want to help build a bridge between your passion and what you do as a communication coordinator. You have to have a guiding set of design principles. So what I mean by that is whatever you're passionate about and whatever drives you, things that you're really connected to, you have to incorporate those things into what you do. How will we take what we learned these 3 weeks and implement within our provinces? We have to think about how you will incorporate what you do, what you are passionate about into your future designs, and help your audience see a reflection of SSPS's history and mission in what you create. When developing Kingdom Creations Graphic Services, one of my mentors that was helping me along the way said I had to have, a set of principles for my company. He said, what would be your 3 pillars? And I sat down and I thought about it. And these 3 principles I always put in everything that I work on. Integrity, service quality, and excellence in execution. Integrity, I'm not going to design something for you and then go and get another customer and design the same thing. So if I create a logo for you, it's not going to be the same as the one I would create for you, because each one has to be unique. It's an integrity. I'm not going to take your money and run. This project is not done until you're 100% satisfied. When I sit down with Sister Monica, I always ask her, I say, how do you like it? And she will tell me, and we'll go over it 1,000,000 times before anyone sees it. And she'll say, I'm sorry to keep doing this to you, but I really need you to change this. It's fine, because I want you to walk away with something that you're pleased with, something that you're proud to show. When you don't like it, you don't want. Case in point, when we drew our illustrations, you drew what was passionate to you, but you didn't want to show anyone. Some of you said, well, let me tell you what I'm passionate about because I don't want to show you. But if you had time and you drew it out and you liked what you made, you don't mind showing it. You want the world to see. Service quality. It needs to be quality in what we do. So things need to be proofread. You need to let someone else see, like you let your neighbor see the banana picture. You got to let people see so that they can give you some fair criticism, right? We want to make sure it's quality. And excellence in execution, basically everything that you design, it should have a sort of spirit of excellence to it. You want it to be at the highest level it can be because you're representing the history of this place. You're representing in everything you design the past, the present, and the future of SSPS. So it should always be done in excellence. And like I said, on everything that I presented is online for you, and you can go right to the references and get what you need. Before I hand the microphone over, there are some resources that I really want to share with you. In your provinces, when you go home, lynda.com. Write that down. Go to this website. If you have a library account, ask them if you are allowed free access to lynda.com because they're attached to libraries. And your library card could get you free access to where you don't have to pay to utilize this service. What it is design professionals, photographers, videographers, anything that you would need, they've created online seminars for you to look at, and you can watch the video over and over and over again until you get an understanding of what you need, what you have a question on. So if you've never designed a newsletter, they will show you how step by step, and you can rewind it, go over it as many times as you want. It is an excellent service. I use it all the time. YouTube. It's not just for music. It's not just for documentaries. It's not just for short films. If I'm asked to, it's been times where Sister Monica's come in and she said, I want you to make the transitions different in the videos. I said, okay. And in my mind, I don't know how to do that. I'm just learning Premiere. I go on YouTube. I watch it. I study it. I bring it into what I'm doing. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present to you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, the love that you have shown me since I've been here. I have never been in Rome and I've never traveled alone, and you have helped me calm down day by day. And you really made this whole process a lot less stressful than I thought I was going to be up here. I still was sweating, but I did pretty good, I think.